Hello, this is an instructional video for Claw-Hammer Ukulele and is geared towards my students who've taken my workshop, Old Time Tunes and Claw-Hammer Style for Ukulele. And I'm going to instruct you on a basic claw-hammer rhythm in this video. The very first thing you want to do is make yourself a G chord, and to make a basic G chord, the next thing you want to do is get comfortable with this shape. And that's the claw and the claw hammer. So you just curl your fingers, okay? The thumb is gonna rest down on the G string, okay? And the very first thing you're gonna do is hit the D note, which is the second fret of the C string. And you wanna get comfortable learning how to hit one note at a time. So for example, you could practice playing C major scale. You could go with the back of your nail. Okay, I'm using the back of my nail, my first finger. Okay, some people use the middle finger, no offense. Okay, some people use the middle finger and they'll use that to hit the individual notes. I use my first finger, I curl it up, I use the back of the nail, that's this part right here. Okay, so you want to get comfortable learning how to strike one note at a time. And again, a good exercise is just to practice playing some basic scales. Okay? All right, now go back to that G chord. Strike that D note. Okay? That's the first step. There are only 3 movements in this stroke. Okay? So you got strike, then you brush the rest of the chord. And your hand, so the back of your nail brushes those other 3 strings. So strike the D note, brush the G chord. Now take note that the thumb is dropping down on the G string every time you brush that chord. Watch. See that? The last part of the movement after you do the BUM-DIT is to let your thumb come off of the G string by lifting it off and turning it out ever so slightly, and it creates a popping sound. Banjo instructors from days of old often refer to this as BUM-DIT-TY. Bum-diddy, bum, diddy, 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 bum, diddy. You get the idea, okay? So the 3 basic movements are strike the individual note, brush the chord, the thumb drops down onto the G string, and pops off. So another exercise for you might be to just get comfortable dropping your thumb or lifting your thumb on and off of the G string to try and get that popping sound. I admit that it is an ever so slightly turning out that way, but it's very, very, very minute and very subtle. It took me a good 7 or 8 days of practicing this to really get it down, to just know the syncopation that happens in the clawhammer stroke is not something that most folks are, that they grasp real easily when we all are so used to this down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up strumming that we all do all the time in our ukulele clubs and just getting together and jamming with everybody else. It's real straight, right? But the clawhammer stroke grew out of the African American tradition, And so there is that certain amount of syncopation that happens in the stroke that takes a little bit of getting used to. The same way it would if you were, for example, learning a triple strum. Those aren't things that you just get immediately. They take a little bit of work, but if you stay with it, eventually you're going to get it. You know, start it out real slow. Go on to YouTube and listen to some old-time banjo players. Watch what they're doing with an actual 5-string banjo, because our 4th string becomes the drone in the same way that their 5th string would be the drone, and keep the rhythm going by dropping the thumb on and off of the G string. Eventually that thumb is going to hit other strings too for what's called drop thumb, but that'll come later on. Some of my favorite contemporary players include guys like Stephen Wade. If you listen to a little bit of his playing, you'll hear a whole lot of great clawhammer playing. There are many different ways to play the old-time banjo style, the clawhammer style. Art Rosenbaum is another one. Ken Perlman is another one. There are a lot of really great contemporary players out there. I listen to Kathy Fink and Marcy Marks. There are a lot of good banjo stuff in what they do, and then all the old timers like Tommy Jarrell and then a whole variety of different banjo styles. Charlie Poole, lots of different ways of playing the old time banjo. So you want to explore those roots as well. And next time we get together, I'll teach you a basic, simple fiddle tune. But just start out with learning how to get this rhythm down, and this will be step 1. So again, to reiterate, strike the D note in the G chord, brush the chord, the thumb drops down onto the G string and pops off. So you get bum, diddy, 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 bum, diddy. And when you really get it going, you're going to get this. Okay? And that constant plucking of the G string creates a driving rhythm that is what makes old-timey music exciting, and old-time dance tunes, Turkey in the Straw, Arkansas Traveler, 8th of January, Soldier's Joy, so many great old fiddle tunes are real exciting when you're playing old-time banjo. On the ukulele, it's a novelty stroke. It's not the stroke you would use over and over and over again, but it is a lot of fun once you start to get it down. Next time we get together, I'll teach you how to play the Boil Them Cabbage Down. It goes like this. Try it again. Okay, so that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of where you can go with it with simple, old-timey and bluegrass melodies. All right, good luck. I hope that was helpful to you. Take care.